of ZTV. NASCAR is throwing cautions for tire changes in a pretty weak move. Do we have the rise of a real racer or just another silver spoon kid? And a premier car owner will not be in Homestead, Miami this weekend. Welcome to Speedway Report, Monday, February 22nd, 2021. We are live on the shores of Lake Norman in Race City, USA, Mooresville, North Carolina. I'm Patrick Reynolds, and thank you for joining the fastest half hour in racing. YouTube channel, have you subscribed yet? Yeah, we got us a YouTube channel. You should be part of that. Check it out. Go over to YouTube. Just give a little search for Speedway Report with Patrick Reynolds. That's me. And we'd love to have you as this podcast gets dropped into your inbox every single week. Let's take a lap around the Victory Lane world. Wasn't much this weekend, a little bit as everybody kind of the short track world kind of collapses and regroups after speed weeks. And then we had some weather, some pandemic. Let me tell you all about it. The NASCAR Cup cars were on the road course at the Daytona International Speedway. Yesterday, Christopher Bell got his first career win in the Cup Series. Xfinity cars and trucks also ran the road course this weekend at Daytona. Saturday's Xfinity race won by Ty Gibbs, and Friday night's truck race won by Ben Rhodes. Now we began, World Outlaws began looking at this weekend as a continuation of their series out of Florida. Originally scheduled to run Friday night in Columbus, Missouri, and on Saturday in Monroe, Louisiana. Both were weathered out. The series called this before last weekend got going. The Cotton Bowl at Page, Texas. This was a Texas two-step race coming up this coming weekend. What was the dates on that? The 26th and 27th of February. That has been canceled because Texas is pretty much in a state of emergency with the winter storms, the snow, and the ice down there. So there'll be no World of Outlaws sprint car racing. And then the pandemic has canceled their entire West Coast swing. California, New Mexico, Nevada, Arizona, all those races off the slate till probably mid-April when we look at the World of Outlaws coming back in action in Oklahoma, maybe. Possibly some stuff in the Midwest as we get closer to spring and the weather pipes up. But like the changing conditions of the pandemic and the weather, we'll keep you apprised every single week right here on Speedway Report on what is up. Now, NASCAR just came off of I call it Speed Week at the Daytona International Speedway. Told you last week I didn't really care for the format too much. Yeah, it changed. Yeah, it's new. Yeah, I understand all the reasons behind it. Just didn't care for it. Didn't really grab me as something exciting and special. And we come off of Speed Weeks, and part of Daytona was the mystique of it. We left Daytona, and I said, wow, we're not really going to be here in the NASCAR world anyway for until the 4th of July weekend, and then we kind of really don't come back until in February the following year. Obviously, the pandemic last year created quite a bit of change there with the road course, and we changed last year. Before the pandemic, with the running of the 400-miler, now closed out the regular season in August. So now, with Florida being one of the most open states in the lower 48, we got our first three races: Daytona Oval, road course, and this coming week, NASCAR going to Homestead, Miami Speedway. So the general gist to me is here we are back again the following week, right after the Daytona 500. NASCAR's three national series are back at the Daytona International Speedway, running the road course, and it felt to me like Speed Week was further watered down. Daytona International Speedway is such a mystical place, a special place, the heartbeat of NASCAR and super speedway stock car racing. And the whole thing is just feeling a little bit, thin to me. Like it's not special enough. We're milking Daytona for all it's worth. No comment on the racing, how it was, how it wasn't, how your favorite did. I'm just thinking, geez, we just saw the Daytona 500 and now we're back there for more racing. I don't think it should be like that. We're taking the mystique and how special that crown jewel was of Speed Weeks and the Daytona 500, and it's just changing. and not for the better. I understand the reasons with a pandemic and cost the car owners less money, I believe. So saving teams money is always good, but when you're losing more interest of the fans, and that is a 11-year-old conversation right here on this show of losing interest of fans versus internally what is good for the sport. Anyway, I felt Speed Weeks was watered down. Racing on the road course isn't bad. I'm not against it, but I'm against that like I am all of stock cars racing on road courses. I just think that road racing belongs to those cars that were built for it, like sports cars or Indy cars. Stock cars should be turning left on an oval. Not my cup of tea. I'm not going to buy a ticket for it. And then Speed Weeks, it got a little thin because we're right there after that. Again, I understand the reasons why. I just don't like the reasons why. While we're talking road racing, we've been screaming at NASCAR for years of local yellows. Road racing has local yellows. You need full course yellows when it's warranted, when we need them. NASCAR absolutely needs local yellows. They piss away so much time and so many laps at these big super speedway ovals /rovals /road courses on caution flags because they don't know how to do a local yellow. That's what you need. So many times it would keep the action moving and not dull out the race the way it does. Even then, yesterday during the Cup race, when it was raining on a section of the track and sunny on another section of the track, they threw a caution so teams could make their decision to change tires. That was weak. That was so bogus. That was lame. It was horrible. My goodness. Again, NASCAR controlling and dictating the outcome of a race, trying to manipulate it. They bitch and moan about teams giving the 100% rule and stop manipulating a race when NASCAR manipulates these things all day long. Throw a caution so teams could decide whether they want to put on tires or not, whether they want to swap the rain tires. That's the whole point of road racing and rain tires, is let the teams decide. They didn't have to, but don't give them the yellow. Well, we're going to go down the road of the of playoffs and stage racing and everything else that I hate about NASCAR in today's world. But that was just one more weak moment in NASCAR decision making with a rain tire yellow. And then teams could come in. No one put on the rain tires anyway. They kept the slicks on. The track wasn't that wet as we got to that point in the race. Mike Joy was correct on his Fox analysis. I'd rather have slicks on the wet track than rain tires on the dry track. That's the lesser of two evils. I don't believe anybody put the rain tires on. Everybody pretty much kept standard Goodyear Racing Eagles on it. But the finish of the race was, pretty good. I saw the results of it. Michael McDowell and Ryan Preece, back-to-back top tens for both guys to start their season. McDowell, the winner of the Daytona 500, brings it home to another top 10. Ryan Preece, modified guy, guest of the show over the years. He's got a 6th and a 7th, or 6th and 9th, whatever the heck it was. Anyway, Ryan Preece had his 2 top 10s. 4 modified guys running the Cup Series. A couple of top 10s to back it up and get the season started. Good for Preece. Good to see that. Michael McDowell, you worry about him with that type of team winning the Daytona 500 and then dropping like anchor through the rest of the season. McDowell, always good on a road course. He's always good on plate racing. Now I think when we get to Homestead, we're going to get a better feel. Remember the comments in the years past. We get out of Speed Weeks in years past, and then teams would always, internally, the NASCAR garage would say, okay, that really doesn't start the season. Well, yeah, it does. It counts toward the championship, but what you don't see is you don't get a good feel for who's strong and who's weak. Bulk of the schedule is still the downforce style tracks where you're going to get a picture and a snapshot of what's happening and who is really strong in the Cup Series and who is not really strong. This weekend will be a bigger tale of the tape with the 1.5 miles at Homestead. Not the plate race for the 500, not the Roval at Daytona. This weekend, coming up, Homestead, Miami, will give us a picture of who's a real contender for this championship and for wins throughout the year. Now, who's going to win down there? I'll tell you who I think is going to win. We've got first-time winners back-to-back to start the season for the first time since 1950. Well, NASCAR started and officially began going in 1949, so there was a lot of first-time winners in 49, obviously, and then 1950 we did it again. We started with 2 first-time winners. Can we go 3 first-time winners? Yes, we will. My prediction, you heard it here first, this Sunday, the winner of the Miami Homestead NASCAR Cup Series race for his first career win will be Matt DiBenedetto. He will win Miami on Sunday. You can take that to the bank, and we're going to meet right back here next Monday to talk about how right I was. Yes, DiBenedetto, Matty D, puts it in victory lane. You see it. You heard it here first. He's your winner at Miami on Sunday. We're going to get 3 first-time winners to kick off the season. The old adage. Were you there or were you not there? Let's talk about this one. The finish of the Stage 1, I roll for stages, Stage 1 of the Xfinity Series race at Daytona on Saturday figured a crash between A.J. Allmendinger and Austin Cindric as they came towards the finish of the race. First, stage points, not enough to throw away your chance at the race. This was a classic example of I am old school. If you're not up to the driver's door, you're not there. Spotters or no spotters, I don't care. This became a break the plane move a few decades ago when Dale Earnhardt stuck the nose in there and he wasn't letting out for anybody. Proper etiquette, if you're not up to the driver's door, that is not your spot. You need to back out. Let the leader have that spot. Cindric was barely up alongside A.J. Allmendinger's bumper. Allmendinger moved down. So what? Cindric should have backed out of that. I'm taking Dinger's side. Cindric with the demerit in causing that crash in the Xfinity race. Got a problem with it? Good. Drop it in the comments. I want to hear all about it. Now, the winner of that race was Ty Gibbs, the grandson of Coach Joe Gibbs. Here's another guy, and brings up the discussion of our, something common in motorsports, not all of motorsports, more prevalent in NASCAR as the years click by, was the Silver Spoon Kid, or Real Racer, or yes to both. Ty Gibbs obviously was born into the sport. Ty Gibbs also had every opportunity available. With so many of these young drivers that are put in that position, you do have to produce. You didn't have to work for your stuff. You have it. However, you have to produce. Ty Gibbs, 18 years old, winning at the Xfinity Series level on a road course. He's got best of everything equipment, but he is producing. We've seen this topic discussed so often. Yeah, these kids are born into it, and they get this great opportunity, but that's not their fault. As a matter of fact, it's really a lot of jealousy. I was a 20-year-old one time, and I was jealous of guys who were getting rides and had money behind them. I'll call it what it is, jealousy. I admit it, I was. So are other drivers jealous of Ty Gibbs? Absolutely they are. Is he a Silver Spoon Kid? Well, after the ARCA race in Daytona a couple of weeks ago, he gave a very poor post-race interview, a non-sportsman-like style. However, he also sent out a tweet later apologizing for that. And I always think that when you catch these guys right out of the car, you get raw emotion from them, but that's not necessarily how you want them to present themselves. In Major League Baseball, if a driver strikes out and then on his walk back to the dugout, there's a TV camera and a microphone in his face, what do you think the baseball player is going to say? Probably nothing too gracious. I don't blame race car drivers at all if there's no cooling down period when you get them right out of the car. That and Ty Gibbs is all of 18 years old. How composed was his eye at 18 years old? Not necessarily I was. Now, who is it? The Dillon kids really get thrown under the bus a little bit. Guys like Paul Menard as well. People that are just born into this. Marco Andretti was criticized as a third-generation racer. Kids that really didn't have to work for it. They were born into it. The opportunity was there for them. But should they not take it because of their position? Heck no. They should absolutely take it. What do they do with it? What do they do with it? The only reason I would criticize a Ty Gibbs, a Marco Andretti, or a Paul Menard is because Patrick Reynolds would be jealous of you. I had a brown bag, paper bag, peanut butter sandwich my lunch every day to afford gas in my truck to take my dirt car to the racetrack every weekends when I was racing. That's what I did. I lived with mom and dad. I did everything I could to save my pennies so I could go racing. I wasn't born into that situation. So yes, I was jealous. These kids get their opportunity. There's a lot of second and third generation guys out there. The Pettys, the Earnhardts. There's a lot of Dale Earnhardt Jr. fans out there. He was born into it. Heck, Dale Earnhardt himself, he was born into it. Ned Jarrett. A lot of these guys are opportunity, the Jarretts, Dale Jarrett. They were just born into it. Now, I don't really blame any of them for taking their opportunity. Heck, Dale had his car in his garage, in his father's garage. Just how it is. Dale Jr. had his late model career started with his dad. His dad's help, hired him for the Busch car, brought him up through the ranks to DEI. It happens in racing, second and third generation racers. I don't like the kids that are ungrateful and don't give it their all. It's like it's their rite of passage to be racing. The kids that respect the opportunity that's given to them and actually show the talent and the desire to be there, good for them that they have the opportunity. The only criticism I have is because 20-year-old Patrick Reynolds would be jealous of their opportunity. Moving on from guys that were born into money to guys that made money. We're going to talk about Chip Ganasi, who made a real big headline here shortly before we went on the air. He has been suspended, Ganasi has, for one cup race. And I'm going to read this here a little bit because this is brand new across the wire. Chip was also fined $30,000 for violating NASCAR's COVID-19 guidelines, the sanctioning body just announced. NASCAR cited Ganasi for bringing a non-essential individual into the restricted competition area last weekend at Daytona International Speedway. While Ganasi will not be permitted to be at this weekend's Cup race at Homestead Miami Speedway, the penalty does not impact his teams of Kurt Busch or Ross Chastain. They're competing, no problem at all. Chip has no comment on it as of yet. Also announced today, crew chief Adam Stevens has been fined $10,000 because one lug nut was not secure on Christopher Bell's winning Cup car. Also out of the Cup Series, crew chief Jeremy Bullins was also fined $10,000 because one lug nut was not secure on Brad Keselowski's fifth place car. Do we have too many rules? Yes, we do. Ganasi, I don't know. I heard rumors that it was possibly a sponsor, potential courting type of executive or individual. The $30,000 that you get fined there is peanuts compared to the potential for the millions of dollars of sponsorship. Rumor I heard, don't know if it's true or not, but it's. Should I even do a story about a whole show about COVID? I could. We all have a whole lot to say about it. Let's talk about some brighter things. Chip, we'll miss you in Miami this weekend. This arrived just a few days ago. Hold it up for you guys. Here it is. Winning in Reverse. Yes, I talked about this book a few weeks ago by Bill Lester. Just arrived in the mail a couple of days ago. Have not begun reading it. I look forward to reading it. I spoke to Bill a few weeks ago on the phone. He told me about this. He told me about his career, about the difficulties he has faced as a man of color coming into the auto racing world. That should be a very, very good book. Bill's a good guy. I've seen him on TV, talked to him on the phone a little bit. Look forward to checking out the book, getting through it. He and I talked about the book ahead of time, but I was lost for context on the books because I hadn't read it yet. Now I have it. I want to read it and then call Bill up and talk to him again about it. That should be fascinating reading. Winning in Reverse, where's the title come from? I'm going to spoil the ending for you because the last race he competed in was in a go-kart. And most people start their careers in go-karts, work their way up into the big cars. Bill's last race ever was in a go-kart. Winning in Reverse, clever title. I can't wait to read a little bit about that. And as we celebrate February 22nd, what's so special about today's date? Today is the day we remember Niki Lauda. He was born on this date, 1949. Let's see, three-time world champion. Oh, boy. What were the years? 84, 74, 76, I think. Gosh, one with McLaren, two with Ferrari, or do I have that backwards? Oh, gosh, I'm a little rusty on the Lauda facts. Niki Lauda, racing royalty across all manners, not just Formula One, but Niki Lauda, born on this day, 1949. May he rest in peace. One of the best racers this sport has ever seen. And I'm going to tip my hat and pay homage to Dave Despain right now with Motor Week Illustrated, our Speedway Report Racer of the Week. Now, it is so easy to just throw in the cup winner of that week. Yeah, that's your racer of the week. That is that's the big race. That's probably the biggest series we have, the winner of that. But we also look for racers. And you know what I mean by racers. The heart, the soul, the passion for the sport. When you can climb the ladder and work your way through. We touched on Silver Spoon Kids. Here's a young guy. He found his way to victory lane last week. Not through a Silver Spoon Kid. He didn't write check. His family was not wealthy to pave his way. He did it through winning a lot of races, through talent. We've seen him come through the short track ranks. We've pegged him for a cup winner, NASCAR champion, NASCAR big-time winner years ago, and he is the winner of this past week's Cup Series race. C. Bell, Christopher Bell, is our Speedway Report Racer of the Week. Former guests on this show, too. I love seeing these former guests here climb their way up through when we had them in the ladder ranks and now making their way in NASCAR's Premier Series. Everybody in between our broadcasts, keep up on the world of racing with SpeedwayReport.com. We've got all of our shows archived there. Social media, Facebook. Speedway Report with Patrick Reynolds and Racers Reunion. On Twitter, I'm at Speedway Pat and at Speedway Report. On RacersReunion.com, we are in the forum, as well as our YouTube channel. Big thanks to everyone in our Facebook Live feed for joining the conversation tonight. And I want to thank all of the military past and present for the freedoms we enjoy as Americans in our daily life, including the simple things like bench racing right here on a Monday night. Freedom is not free, and a veteran paid that bill for us. To all of the men and women who are defending freedom and watching Speedway Report, take care of yourselves and come home soon. A special salute to the teachers, school staff, firefighters, police officers, and paramedics in our own communities. They are quiet and modest heroes every single day. God bless and thank you. You've been watching Speedway Report from the shores of Lake Norman in Race City, USA, and Mooresville, North Carolina. Please like our Facebook page, Speedway Report with Patrick Reynolds, and you can follow me on Twitter at SpeedwayPat. Now, if you're on Facebook Live right now, February 22nd at 7:53 p.m. Eastern Time, jump on over to the Drag List Live page. Bill Pratt and John Bockelman will pick you up at the top of the hour. I'll be back live here on Facebook March the 1st with NASCAR National Series in Miami and, gosh, whatever the weather and your local quarantine will give us for short track racing. I don't know. I'll see y'all next week. We'll find out together. But thank you guys for watching. You take care of yourselves and take care of each other. I'll see y'all next week.